Originally recorded live, Faith Speaks is now a podcast. Watch the stories at incmedia.org or press play and listen here.
From the time I was 13 years old, I learned to cook inside the kitchen, clean the bar, clean the stage, and worked up towards the front door for entrance fees and sold liquor through the drive-thru. See, my mother ran 3 successful adult entertainment businesses. This was my first experience, and let me tell you, it was really a big eye-opener, okay? Because of the money coming in, there was always constant threats of our lives. Even the police had labeled us the Filipino mafia. And even a moment where my aunt got shot 9 times because they were trying to kill my mom. As I got older, and older, I mean still in my teens, I tried to find ways to distance myself.
How far would you go to find peace? Would you walk away from money, family, and the only life you've ever known, even if it meant risking everything? Frank grew up working in his mom's adult entertainment clubs, but it was breakdancing, yes, dancing, that led to a new circle of friends, and eventually to God. Hi, I'm Macy Padilla, a mom of 2 from the Church of Christ, and you're listening to Faith Speaks. Today's story is about real transformation and how true freedom isn't found in success, but in a life with God. Here's the story.
Frank, why do you always have that smile on your face every time you walk into the chapel? You know, if I got $1 for every time I heard that, I'd probably be rich. But seriously, for as long as I've been a member in the Church of Christ, I could always count on the worship service to change my mood completely. It could be the worst day. Traffic could be really bad, and work can be stressful. But the moment I walk through those doors, everything just changed. My shoulders start to relax. I'm surrounded by warmth, and any trace of pain and tiredness just melts away. I was home. See, it's been this way ever since 2002, when I was 21 years old over in Jacksonville, Florida. That was the same year I joined the Church of Christ. You see, before joining the Church of Christ, I wasn't living in the best environment. I didn't have a father figure, so my mother took the role and worked hard on raising me right. She trained me to work and pitch in at the family business. Unfortunately, the family business is not what you'd so-call family-friendly. From the time I was 13 years old, I learned to cook inside the kitchen, clean the bar, clean the stage, and worked up towards the front door for entrance fees and sold liquor through the drive-thru. See, my mother ran 3 successful adult entertainment businesses. This was my first experience, and let me tell you, it was really a big eye-opener, okay? Because of the money coming in, there was always constant threats of our lives. Even the police had labeled us the Filipino mafia. And even a moment where my aunt got shot 9 times because they were trying to kill my mom. As I got older, and older, I mean still in my teens, I tried to find ways to distance myself. I learned ballroom dancing and breakdancing. And actually, I was really good at it. I mean, I was shocked too. Everyone was. I even got hired to teach ballroom dancing for $75 an hour. What? It was an opportunity for me to get out of the family business. But unfortunately, things didn't work out the way I hoped. I had no choice. I had to go back to my mom and the family business. It was tough. Money was everywhere, and so were the problems. We were robbed at gunpoint many times, threatened, sometimes both at the same time. All because of the money we made in the family business. This was also when my life started to change. Remember I said I was good at dancing? Well, dancing wasn't just giving me an outlet. It also connected me to a whole new set of friends. We would spend hours breakdancing and training for events. I loved it. There were no guns, no fights about money, no threats to our lives. I finally felt my age. One day, we were having a discussion about one of our friends kept missing all the competitions because he had to go to church. There was always something going on at church. I could tell my friends were frustrated. So I asked them, why are we arguing about him doing something that's more important than what we're doing? We should show him support. Didn't he ask us to come with him? Let's surprise him. Let's all go. So we all did. We won. All 16 of us. We took up almost 2 rows of the men's and the women's side. I was surprised. I remember seeing that look on his face, the reaction. It was a cheesy smile. It looked like he was crying too, but I knew I did good. I knew we all did good. It was amazing. Man. But that wasn't the biggest surprise that night. See, hearing the Bible verses explained in a very different way than the mystery I've been taught to accept over in the Catholic faith, I was changed. I didn't know what to say. See, I should probably pause here and explain that I wasn't the most religious. My aunt would bring me to Catholic church, but all I remember was learning about forgiveness and wondering, what would Jesus do? Because I had a bracelet. I attended a few more times, and that first Bible study after it, partly because there was a girl I thought was cute, and partly out of curiosity. But every time the Church of Christ talked about something that contradicted what I knew about my Catholic faith, I would get mad. And I'd tell the priest at the Catholic Church, and over, he would tell me, stop arguing with them. What they are telling you is the truth. Honestly, I wasn't sure what to do. I felt lost. So I stopped attending the Church of Christ for a while. I also stopped attending the Catholic Church also. I just didn't know what to do. You know, some mechanics can tell you they can make your car run, but it's a temporary fix. But they know a place you can go to get your car to work like it's running new. That's kind of how I felt like with that conversation with the priest. Well, I decided right then that I didn't want the Band-Aid to fix the problem. I needed the cure. I wanted the truth. So I went back to the Church of Christ in Jacksonville, Florida. I was so early to the church, the head deacon was still unlocking the door. He asked what locale congregation I was from. I said, no, I'm not a brother in the church. I wanted to learn the truth. I remember feeling so nervous and I was shaking. I wasn't sure what to ask or what to say. Members of the church and the choir kept walking in. They began saying, hello, brother. I kept saying, no, I'm not a brother. I'm trying to start learning. And I was told to wait here. The surprised smiles on their faces caught me off guard. And I felt even more nervous, really. So many greetings by these people I didn't even know. Then the head deacon came back finally with a warm smile and asked me, what's your name? I said, my name's Frank Busby. He said, who invited you? I said, nobody. I came on my own. But I know somebody from the church who invited me in the past. But he doesn't even know I'm here doing this either. That was the day I started listening. And I listened and listened until I was baptized in July 27, 2002. No, this isn't a story of how once I was baptized, everything was perfect. It's far from it. See, my family disowned me after that and kicked me out of the house for being a member. My friends stopped spending time with me because there was no more money in my pockets. I had no money. I felt deep into debt. I couldn't pay for my college classes. I didn't know what to do. But despite all of those things, Nothing compared to the rush of joy I felt every time I walked into the house of worship in Jacksonville. And so when my friends in the choir would ask me afterwards about that goofy smile on my face, I would tell them that this was the happiest moment I've ever been in my life. My face hurt so much smiling, I've never had cramps in my face. My mind's at ease and I'm no longer stressed. It's like everything that's been bothering me and worrying me has just gone away. My family, problems with my friends, and everything that's been a problem, burden has no longer stood in front of me. I sleep easy now. It's all my sadness has gone away. I was finally in the place I need to be. It's been 22 years since I joined the Church of Christ. I've obviously moved away from Jacksonville, Florida, right? I've gotten married. I've got 3 beautiful kids. They made me a dad. We have a home. I have a job I like and duties in the Church of Christ that I love. Life is far from perfect for any of us. But you know what? I'm glad I'm not up here telling you how perfect life is, because it would take away from the feeling I get every time I walk inside the house of worship, every time I sit down and pray, and every time I feel God's love surround me. And that's something I hope I never forget. Thank you.
Frank's story reminds us that real freedom isn't walking away from problems, it's walking toward God. And when you do, even a past filled with pain can be transformed into purpose. Thanks for listening to Faith Speaks podcast. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that it's never too late to start again with God. Catch Faith Speaks now streaming on the podcast. You can also watch it on incmedia.org. Real stories, real faith, right when you need it.